Hello everyone and welcome back to the MGL. This time we are in week 6 against Novablader, who I have faced a few times now. He's a very strong battler, of course, with a solid team going into this matchup, so we're just going to get right into it. His S tier is Tinkatuff, which is at least held back by not being able to hold the Eviolite, but that doesn't stop it from being a very tanky steel type with a ton of utility between Stealth Rock, Knockoff, and a speedy Encore. Quilladin is a nice bulky grass type, notably with a bit of belly drum potential thanks to grassy terrain support from Gokey, which in itself is a nice grass type check to Frogadier. And the other A tier is Gastly, a glass cannon that is really hard to switch into. I consider this the biggest potential problem going into this matchup. Staravia is a good scarf or band user, Marini is a bulky regenerator wall, and Crepuscul is a good hazard control piece as well as an all-time Fletchinder answer. Those are the major pieces, with Alolan Graveler and Apom largely filling roles that are covered by higher tier threats. But Graveler there at the bottom is something I know my opponent is fond of. It's a decent fighting type with good coverage options, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. So getting into my build for this match, we're starting off with Vibrava, which I'm bringing as a check to Crepuscul or Alolan Graveler, as a resist to all of those stab moves. I'm running a special set with Earth Power and Draco for a couple reasons. First off, not running Earthquake prevents grassy terrain from getting the better of me, and also if I switch Vibrava into Crepuscul, odds are decent that it's going for Will-O-Wisp, so I do not want that negative effect of having my attack to have too much of an impact. I'm running Leftovers for similar reasons here. I expect to get burned on switch in, or maybe switch a couple times into weak Rapid Spins or Rock moves, so Leftovers should ideally have several turns to keep my HP topped off. Aside from Dual Stabs, I have U-Turn to keep up momentum, and of course Stealth Rock. And despite our defensive utility, this is still very much an offensive set. We're max special attack with enough speed to outrun Brawler. Next up is Hattrem, which is a nice bulky attacker and my best way to threaten Marini. As I'm finding out as the season goes on, Psychic tends to have pretty great coverage in this format, with the only resist this week is going to be Tinkatuff. Then we have Mystical Fire to cover that, and Nuzzle to slow down fast threats, so this modest Hattrem is going to be very hard for my opponent to switch into. We're running Quesaberry, mostly to try and lure the Gastly, so that the rest of my team doesn't have to deal with it, and Life Dew is my last move there. Not usually a move worth running, but I'm trying to stay healthy enough to preserve the Quesaberry play for as long as I can, so that limited recovery, it's all I get, but it's something. Of course, I do need a more solid check to that Gastly. That is going to be the Max Spadef Eviolite Ivysaur, which switches in on Gastly most of the time. We avoid the 2-hit KO from anything it can do, aside from Choice Spec Psychic, which is a roll. I'll be trying to preserve Ivysaur as much as I can for that Gastly matchup, but this is also a decent check to my opponent's grass types with just max HP and Eviolite. We have Dual Stabs as usual, with Venoshock as the poison coverage this time to get around Quilladin's Bulletproof, Synthesis for consistent recovery, and Knockoff for general utility as well as a strong attack for that Gastly. That's followed up by my other Eviolite user, Physically Defensive Luxio, mainly as a check for the Staravia, although it can also slow down the likes of Gokey, Apom, and Brawler. We're just running Discharge and Volt Switch, as well as Rest Talk because there is not much else to do with this move pool on a defensive special attacking set. At the very least, we do not have any electric or immunities to worry about. The EV spread is mostly physical defense, but we have enough special bulk to avoid the 2-hit KO from Timid Gastly Sludge Wave, sorry. After that, we have Fletchinder, which is my main form of speed control for the matchup and an important check to Tinkatuff and the grass types. We have speed to outrun everything up through Gastly and Staravia to hit them hard with Flare Blitz, max HP and Flame Body to tank those grass and steel type moves, and enough attack so that Flare Blitz is a guaranteed 1-hit KO on max HP Tinkatuff. Flare Blitz is our 1-stab move chosen, of course, for that Tinkatuff, and U-Turn is important for pivoting, especially since Fletchinder tends to invite in Marini and the rock types. Roost for recovery, and Defog is important to remove hazards against a team with 3 Rock Setters and a Spiker in Quilladin. And finally in the last slot, we have Choice Scarf Scraggy, which is more speed control as well as one final check to the Gastly. I mentioned that Ivysaur may be forced out by Choice Spec Psychic, so this is my switch into that, as well as my Ghost Resist for Shadow Ball. This isn't my main Gastly answer because that thing can run Dazzling Gleam, instead we're meant to switch in once and kind of just start going to town. With the Choice Scarf, Scraggy outspeeds my opponent's entire unboosted team, and Close Combat and Knockoff hit pretty hard in this matchup. Zen Headbutt is super effective coverage for Marini as well as Brawler, and Encore is mostly filler, but it can be used in a pinch against bulky setup sweepers. We do have Moxie as the ability as well, so there's some win con potential here, but mostly the attack boost is just a nice way to keep up pressure after picking up a single KO. That is going to do it for the whole team though. You'll notice no Frogadier for the second time this season. I did really want to bring it, but the 6 I do have here just have a little too much defensive utility to cut any of them. But yeah, with all that said, looking forward to the battle. I'll see you guys there. Alright, we have matched up with Novablader, who is bringing a team of, we have the Marini, Tinkatuff, the Graveler, Carkol, both Graveler and Carkol, interesting, Grookey, and Ghastly. Okay. Alright, so Graveler and Carkol, kind of unexpected, but I do have a nice check in the form of this Leftovers Vibrava. Let's see. What do they leave behind? The Quilladin's left behind, and so is the Staravia, which means Luxio has less going for it in this matchup. It's mostly here to check, I guess, Tinkatuff now. That's worth something. I like the potential Vibrava lead, and then if it's Tinkatuff, which is a bad matchup, I'll probably switch to Luxio. I think that's my play. I'm just going to try to counter lead the Rock types or possibly Marini. Ghastly lead would be a bit tough, but I do have the Ivysaur, which is designed to switch into it. Okay, but yeah, let's lock this in. Good luck, have fun to Nova. All right. We have, it is the Graveler lead, okay. Alright, so first thing about Graveler, does it get Ice Punch? I didn't really prep too hard for this guy, let's just double check. Doesn't look like it, so I think I'm just going to set up my rocks. That feels pretty good. I'd like these up early. Okay, so they are going to go ahead, stay in, probably using Sturdy to be a solid lead. Alright, we both get our rocks up. This is okay, I suppose. I wonder if it's like Sturdy Custap, you know? If it is, I mean, I don't know if there's much I can actually, you know, do about that. Maybe I just go for the Earth Power and accept that it might be doing something kind of nasty to the Bravo. But let's just try it. We'll go for Earth Power. At the very least, Graveler will be out of the way if they stay and take this. I wonder if it's like Explosion. I see that as like the best thing it can do to hit me. Yep, there's a Sturdy. Fire Punch? Oh, okay. 255 to 185. 70 points of damage. With Fire Punch. Yeah, that's max adamant. Would you explode on me is the question. I have Galvanize in the call. That absolutely does KO. I should probably scout for that. I'm gonna go Luxio. Yeah. See, I need Vibrava for that Carkol. I thought that Custap might be happening. And at the very least, Luxio is more expendable. Yep, there's an explosion. I shouldn't die to this, I don't think. Yeah, that's like, I'm down to half. But yeah, we preserved Vibrava, which is definitely important. Okay, but Graveler's going to KO itself.
Okay, so that was just a suicide lead. It got Rock's Chip and some change, so... Hard to say if that was a benefit for me to just get rid of it. I don't know. There's a Ghastly. Okay. So Ghastly to Luxio. So notably, if it is just max timid, I do live most of the time from Sludge Wave, which is its strongest move. It's kind of a range. There are 2 rolls of the 16 where a max timid Sludge Wave would take me out. If it goes for Shadow Ball, I am good. I think I'm going to take those odds. If it does KO me, then I at least know that it's probably something like Specs. And should I discharge or Volt Switch? I think at this point, I should discharge. Okay, there's a Sludge Wave. Are you... Yes, I do live it. Awesome. Okay, I don't take the KO. I probably should have Volt Switched. I knew I wouldn't take the KO, but I was kind of hoping for a para, I suppose. Okay. What am I going to revenge this thing with? Fletch Hitter, probably? Maybe. But yeah, that's max timid for sure. Not Specs. Ivysaur is a solid switch in, but I don't know if I see the point of preserving Luxio. So yeah, we'll just Volt out in case. Okay, not Scarf. Good to know. Ghastly KO Luxio. Bit unfortunate, but Luxio's roll was not exactly that great with no other guy, no Staravia here. My options are Scarf Scraggy, which can definitely be a nuisance, or Fletchinder, which I guess I'm trying to save for Grookey. I'm gonna go Scraggy. So this feels like a win-win if they switch out Fearing the Scarf, or if they don't happen to have Dazzling Gleam. Knockoff is just nice to hit something with. If they stay in, trying to Gleam me, thinking I am unaware of that, and that I'm Scarfed, I take the KO on the acid. So I'm gonna go for Knockoff. Nice! Big threat out of there. Big threat for sure. That was Eevee-like Ghastly. I thought it was like a little tanky there for that discharge. Okay. So I imagine Tinktuff has to be coming in. And that might have to be where I go Fletch. With Ghastly down, Marini's still definitely an issue, but we are one step closer to a Scarf close combat endgame. Just something to keep in mind. Yeah, but yeah, Tinktuff is definitely their best knockoff tank. I would imagine I should go Fletchinder. That's pretty easy to read on their part. They can just knock. That is the Carkol, okay. And their Balloon, okay. Is it worth going for a knockoff here? What is Hatchram even doing in this matchup anymore, though? That's like one thing I could switch in, I suppose. Hatchram's here for Marini, I guess. I guess I could just knock with Scraggy. +1 knockoff to a Balloon. Balloon, Carkol. See what I can... Air Balloon. I mean, yeah, I'll do it. Ooh, nice damage. That is not a bulky guy. Okay, they're gonna spin. Okay, well, I definitely still outspeed it. Unless it happens to be Jolly or something. No, I don't. It's max speed. Dang. Okay. Do I hate that exchange? Not really, I guess. I don't love it. Losing Scraggy kind of sucks. But they're down to Grookey, Tinkaton, and Mareanie. Okay. I think... Let's see. I have lots of Grookey checks, so... I don't mind switching into a matchup that's not great for that. I could go Hatchrim now. Good against Mareanie, not that great against the others, though. Vibrava... kind of expendable at this point, so I'm okay doing that. Hercules is the Grookey, okay. We got Grassy Surge. Wonder if we're gonna see Grassy Seed, no. So Vibrava, Grookey. I think I should go for a U-turn. I think... Okay, it's slow. It takes a little under half from a U-turn. Which means it's probably just max HP, no Eviolite. Which makes sense, I think the Mareanie has the other Eviolite. We definitely go Fletchinder here. We're gonna see a knock. How much is that doing? 237. $94? Wait, no. I misread 327 minus 143. We have 184. That looks abandoned, but let's double check. Yeah, Adamant banned, I think. It could be Jolly banned, but we outspent it with the Brava, so no. Alright, I'm gonna defog. Yep. Okay, so banded Grookey. Very good to know. Alright, rocks are out of there. That's great. I can totally just U-turn. Because I'm at half health, may have to sack something to Grookey next time it comes in, or just go Ivysaur. Actually, yeah, just going Ivysaur is better. But yeah, half health, I don't take... Well, I might take a knockoff, because I don't have my item anymore. And because it's not pivoting, we definitely just go into... Oh, I have low battery on the controller. Hope that's not an issue. We're going to Hatchrim. Goes for Sludge Bomb. 318 at 240. And 8 minus 240. Sludge Bomb. That's a max roll for uninvested. Wouldn't be surprised if there's maybe a little bit of investment there. I think I'm going to Nuzzle, though. You kind of need Mareanie to check the other two guys. Actually, that's a good enough reason to Mystical Fire. Because you need Mareanie to check Fletchinder is what I was trying to say. So no way you're keeping it in, I don't think. So we catch something for super effective damage here. This might drop. It does. Grookey goes down. So Hatchrim. And my opponent played this fast-paced game, a lot of explosions, but I think I've kind of handled that well here. There's the Tinkaton. It's Grassy Seed Tinkatuff. Interesting, okay. Okay, well, I'm gonna Nuzzle. That's one way to kind of boost yourself up here. Dang. Alright, so Tinkatuff, Sword Stance, like offensive. Let's see, we have... Conveniently, I don't know what its spread is, but the spread that I guessed in my calc that it would have is very slightly slower when it's paralyzed than my Hatchram. So let's see if that checks out. It's Mystical Fire. Yes! Alright. Yeah, Adamant would be slower. Knock off. Not a KO yet. That's cool. Yep, the Mystical Fire again here. I guess the problem just becomes breaking through Marini. Which is their last Pokemon. Let's see, do I outspeed is the question. If it has no speed investment, I do outspeed. I didn't creep at all. This Psychic, doing a good chunk. There's one turn of terrain left, so you don't have much healing there. We are just going to go for the Psychic, I think. If this is Spadef, it lives. Nope. It just went down, which maybe is a Fizz Def set. But yeah, I believe that means we take it. Nice. Hatchram kind of clutch at the end there. Awesome. Yeah, like I said, very scary explosions early in the game. But they didn't take too many KOs with them, which is what's important. And I feel like I had the checks for the endgame threats that they went with. So, yeah, good game to Novablader. We are up to, I believe that means 5-1 for the season. So we're looking pretty nice. Very happy about that game. And looking forward to finishing this season out. But yeah, with all that said, I will see you guys next time.